afternoon.
How are you doing today?
Good.
Todd, you had some praise for Deidre not after the game. He's been a very impactful player with some limited snaps over the last 3 weeks. Is there any thought with, given that production, to maybe increasing his workload a little bit more in games?
Depending on the situation and what they come out in, we have different packages for different people. So he has some packages that could increase or decrease depending on what they do.
We talked to you a little bit Monday about this already, about the league and enforcing these rules maybe a little bit heavier when it comes to roughing the passer. We saw Chris Jones, the call there on Monday Night Football. It was, I understand it was about, putting his body weight on Derek Carr, but your thoughts on that, and is the league swinging too far in the other direction?
Well, hopefully we come to middle ground. We want to be able to play football, play it clean, and play it safe. So hopefully everybody get together and we'll come to some middle ground to where everybody has an understanding of what we can and can't do.
And I know that rule, as far as the body weight, that's not brand new. Like, maybe it's being enforced a little bit differently, but that's not brand new. How do you, continue to coach your defensive players to where they can still be really physical?
It's tough. You don't want to fall on the quarterback. You want to hit him go to the side. But sometimes you're in a position where you're coming from the back or you have a lineman on you that you can't avoid and just go to the side. So, hopefully we have some meetings about that and we have some middle ground where they allow the D-line to play a little bit.
And if I can also follow up, well, you've been a defensive coach, that's how you got this opportunity. Do you ever worry that when the NFL, everybody kind of looks to all the levels of football, when they continue to enforce rules like this, that might kind of, I guess, dull the enthusiasm of some of these aspiring football players to not play defense?
I don't think it'll dull the enthusiasm, but, like I said, we want to come to rules where we can play football. But from dulling enthusiasm, no, there's a lot of kids that love to play football.
Have you had a lot of discussions with your players about, are they kind of frustrated, like confused on how they're supposed to be playing?
No, we try to play the right way. I'm sure everybody tries to play the right way. Look, it's not a call here or there. You can ask any coach in the league. They've had calls go against them and calls go for them, depending on what it was. So all of us can argue that fact. And we just try to play a clean game, and the referees got to do their job, and we have to do ours.
We saw Cam out there today. Is he in play for this Sunday?
He's working. We'll see how he goes through the week.
He's still in the protocol?
Yes.
Coach, Sean Murphy-Bunting was scheduled to have an MRI this week. Any update on that? Now came back?
Not at this time. I just got off the field.
But Sean, Carlton, Mike, they're all potentially in play for Sunday right now?
Potentially right now, yeah.
Todd, the first 5 quarterbacks you faced have all kind of been veterans, all at least 6 years in the league, and now the next 2, you've got guys who have 1 and 2 career starts most likely. Just want to ask you about Pickett and what stands out to him as you get ready to face him.
He's a very heady football player. He knows where his checkdowns are. He has a very good arm reading defenses, going to the outside or the inside. Can get out of the pocket and run pretty good if he has to. It looks like he has a good command of the offense, so we're expecting him to play well.
Todd, you look at a young player like George Pickens, who's already made quite an impact, not just with some amazing catches, but also with some physicality getting off the line of scrimmage. What are your impressions of him so far?
He's a physical receiver. They have 2 of them, Claypool as well. So, he's going to jump and try to make great catches, which he's shown week in and week out. That's why he got drafted so high. Tough. He was a tough player in college. He's tough with the Steelers. They got a good draft pick. They got a potential Pro Bowler on their hands, and it's going to be a handful to deal with.
Obviously, you guys are the oldest team in the NFL right now, but you've had a lot of play from this year's rookie class. How impressed have you been with just this group of guys that have been able to come in and kind of contribute this early on?
I think all of them have been impactful. They all put their head down and they work. They study very hard. They work very hard. They don't look up, and the moment's not too big for them when they play. So right now, all of them have been doing a great job contributing.
Byron has talked about how hard it is to take Lenny off the field just because he does so many things well. He certainly had a big game the other day, but you got Rashad White more involved, obviously. Do you see him, gaining more confidence, more trust with Tom? Where's he at in terms of, will this continue to increase, do you think, as the year goes on?
Well, he has the trust with Tom. We're not worried about that. We're just trying to get him in and get him some plays. When Lenny needs a break, we don't feel like we lose anything putting Rashad in there. So we're happy about that and getting him more reps. Depending on how many reps Lenny has, it will go. Some days it'll go high and low. Some days it'll go closer to the same. So, he's ready to play when we put him in there. Tom trusts him. The O-line trusts him. He can catch the ball. He blocked well. He can run the ball. So we don't have a problem putting him in.
Todd, when you look at the pass rush, the defense has been getting to the quarterback with not just one or two guys leading the way. It's really been a group collective effort. How good has that been to see so far?
Well, just getting to the quarterback is good. It doesn't matter who it is for us. A lot of guys sacrifice to get other guys plays, so that part of it's been good as far as playing team football. But we need to get there with 3, 4, or 5, however many we send. We try to get to the quarterback, and it's more the pressure than the sack. The sacks just showed up early. Last year they didn't show up early.
We hadn't talked to you since Grady Jarrett had spoken out about, what happened in the game. He said that Tom attempted to kick him, and it looked like that on television. Is that something you have to coach up with your guys a little more? Obviously, he's a veteran, but, the retaliation stuff?
I didn't see any of it, so I couldn't answer that question.
Coach made a few roster moves, brought up Jannard Avery, a couple guys to the practice squad. What have you seen out of them, to bring those guys in?
Well, Avery's been up and down. We think he can help us on teams. He has some things he can do on defense as well. And the other guys are young based off of injury. We may have to play the other guys, so we have to get them ready to play.
Todd, Ryan Suckup had a record-breaking year for you guys in 2020 as your kicker. You won the battle, obviously, and it's off to a great start. Just can you speak to, at age 36, how well he's kicked for you at the beginning of the season?
Ryan's been very solid. He's very professional, very solid guy. We don't talk as much. When I first got the job, I told the kickers, we won't be talking a lot. If we have to talk, you probably missed a kick. So and we have been very far apart right now, and that's a credit to him working hard and getting back healthy. So I'm pleased with him.
Coach, you and Mike Tomlin are two of the few black head coaches in the league. I wonder what your relationship is like with them and your thoughts on Steve Wilks joining that fold.
I have a very good relationship with Tomlin. We don't look at what color we are when we coach against each other. We just know each other. I have a lot of very good white friends that coach in this league as well, and I don't think it's a big deal as far as us being coaching against each other. I think it's normal. Wilkes got an opportunity to do a good job. Hopefully he does it. And we coach ball. We don't look at color.
But you also understand that representation matters too, right? And that when young aspiring coaches or even football players, they see you guys, they see someone that looks like them, maybe grew up like them, that has to mean something.
Well, when you say you see you guys and look like them and grow up like them, it means that we're oddballs to begin with. And I think the minute you guys stop making a big deal about it, everybody else will as well.
How remarkable is it, 15 years, not a losing record in this league at this time?
It's unbelievable. I don't know who else has done that, but he's done an outstanding job since he's been there as a coach and being a model citizen. So one of the coaches I have a lot of respect for in this league, truly look up to in that aspect.
Was this Joe Tryon, this past game, maybe his best game? I know production-wise he showed up, but just in terms of facing a quarterback that's going to be mobile, having to set the edge, forcing pressure as a sack. What did you think of the way he played in this game?
He showed more consistency in the last game than he has in the previous game, so hopefully that continues.
Todd, there's been a lot of end game situations for coaches, especially this past weekend, whether you kick to tie a game or go for 2 to try and win a regulation, field goals versus touchdowns. When you have those situations during games, how much of that do you think you have kind of figured out in your head going into a game, and how much of it is just the instinct of the moment?
I think it's both. You don't ever have it figured out because you don't know the situation you're going to be in at the end of the game. You have your analytics part, you have your coaching part, you have the way your team is playing part. So you have to take all that into consideration and try to make an educated decision.
Do you see those moments in other games and wonder, put yourself in that position, kind of second?
It's hard to put myself in that position after the play has happened, so I'm not going to sit up here and be a Monday morning quarterback. Again, it's just all about when you get in that position, what are you going to do?
Todd, you mentioned analytics. What is your viewpoint on analytics, and how do you weigh that against the gut feel of being a coach in the moment?
It's very helpful. It's very helpful in a lot of things. Percentage-wise, it's very helpful when you follow it by the book, especially when it works. And it's also very helpful when you're breaking teams down. There's also the coaching element. You have to know your team and understand what they are when you get in certain situations as well. Again, you got to make an educated decision.
Has Kamara also been one of those guys you haven't had to speak to? Has he been that steady so far, Todd?
He's been steady for the most part. You know, he's been steady every week. We like where he's at. And he just keeps getting better. So, you know, the kicking game has been good for us.
Coach, has the swelling gone down with Ryan Jensen yet? Any update on the injury diagnosis that he suffered?
I'm sure the swelling went down some, but no more update than the last time.
Okay. I was gonna say, do you expect Ryan Jensen to return? at some point
I
this
don't
season?
know. That's a long way from a health standpoint for me to answer that question, though. Thanks.
Thanks, Todd.
Locker room will be open momentarily.